I know you want to get out of that toxic household, and this is how you're going to get out of that toxic house. So if you're in a position to where you're not quite ready for an apartment, or you don't meet any of the requirements like credit score, rental history, all of that extra stuff, one thing I would recommend, if you just want to get out of that house and you need to be in your own space, what you can do is rent a private room and a bedroom from a private landlord, or from places like, Facebook Marketplace, Roomster, Kiva Living, to name a few, etc. Of course, look out for scams, but I feel like getting a renting a private room and bathroom would be a great alternative if you're needing to get out of a sticky situation and you just want to go ahead and stack up. For you to rent your own room and bathroom, of course, those are different qualifications, and it's much easier to get in a place with a private landlord because they don't have as much restrictions as a traditional apartment, and they do offer like flexible leasing, that sort of thing. They will even work with you if you're in a certain situation. So I would definitely recommend going that route. Plus, you can use the time that you're renting the private room and bathroom, because of course it won't be like as much rent as a traditional apartment. So you can use that time to stack up. If you're in school, use that time to go to school and work, work a part-time job, because either way it won't be as expensive as the rest, because usually with a private landlord, utilities are always, for the most part, I'm not going to say for all of them, but for the most part, always included. Wi-Fi, wash and dry, all that good stuff. Most likely you just have a roommate, but if you have your private room and bathroom, you really don't have to see them much until you're like sharing the kitchen, like all the common spaces pretty much. So if you're on a time crunch and you just want to get out of that toxic household or wherever you are, I would recommend renting a room, a private room and a bathroom, of course. If you're like quite picky, some people just rent a room and they don't mind sharing bathrooms. Me personally, I would rent the room and the bathroom. But yeah, so that, or there's another option of subleasing, which is basically taking over someone else's lease. So a lot of people get an apartment, and for whatever reason, whether they have been offered a new job in another state, or they just need to leave, or they don't want to be in the apartment anymore, they might offer for you to take over their lease. And of course there are requirements with that depending on, I guess, the apartment, but it's still much easier to get in as opposed to applying for an apartment and with your information. So that's another alternative as well. So subleasing or renting a room, either way, both of those will help you get out of that toxic household into being your own space. You can stack up, keep your peace, and get out of them people's face.